Hello, people. Welcome back. So, basically, I just want to experiment with this live thing. I just thought it would be interesting to see what it's like. So, yeah, today I'm going to talk about this book I ordered for my birthday, and it's my birthday month, and I'm extremely bored. So I ordered this book that everybody was raving about on Book Talk, and obviously I ordered from Misho because pirated books just give a better vibe. They're more satisfying to read. Said no one ever, and I don't think I completely agree with it either, but I said it. So Belladonna, guys, in all her glory. And I kid you not, the first thing I did was flip through the book, and it was pristine. Right? The text was good, the pages were big, um, quite sturdy, not your rough pages, very smooth. And it's obviously a pirated copy. You can see from the scratches over here and the randomness of the cover. It's not proper at all. Um, but the first thing I did was start reading it. As immediately I start reading it, this is what happens. Of course, the pages fall off. Obviously. Um, but immediately as that happened, I filed for an exchange. Um, and so while I've scheduled an exchange for this, I'll be continuing to read this. And fear not, I have a couple of days on my hand, and I've got two other books in the series that came with this book, which are not as bad in condition as this one is. This didn't have glue, but these have glue, so they are actually sturdy. And what's more fascinating is that each book gets more sturdier than the rest. Even though the last book has like a little bit of a tear at the top, like I don't know if you can see, but yeah. So they're not in pristine condition, but for the price, it's pretty good. What's funny is the first book के पीछे there's barely like any text. ठीक है? The second book there's so much text, but because it's a pirated copy, it's also blurred. You can barely read any of it. It's more clear on the camera than in real life. It's crazy. And the last book is very, very clear. And as an aspiring author myself, this is quite hypocrisy. But how much ever I've read till, where did I read till? Just a second. Yeah, I have read till page 39, and I've been amazed by how this author writes. Like, I'm obsessed with how she writes. Whatever her writing style is exactly how I would aspire or envision myself as a writer. And it gives me incentive to then maybe want to like get the actual book. And because I'm a Taurus baby, maybe also an Aries, I have no idea at this point. But I would definitely want to get the hard copy and have a library like any other book girl wants. A huge library with so many books. I don't know why it's so satisfying. Like, it's one of the kind of things that you would want to be known for as a collector. Like, that's the kind of thing you would want to be a collector. Like, postage stamps. What satisfaction? What satisfaction is postage stamps gonna give you? Books. Even if you're not gonna read, just keep it in your shelf. Feels so much satisfaction. It's crazy. And mind you, there are so many books that I've just kept, not read, but just kept. Um, but I'll make sure that these are not going to be those because I'm motivated and extremely free and bored. So for the win. And it is readable. It's quite readable. Like the pages are very soft. Oh, I just wrote another. The pages are very soft, and the writing is very clear. The Yeah, it's very sturdy, like flipping wise. But it's just that if you flip a page, right? Let me just keep the tone pages aside, and so I can show you. If you flip the page and you press it too hard, it comes out right off like a sticker book because it's not glued. um, and that's just what it is. And I'm usually kind of person who is not very materialistic, even though I love luxuries. And so I have absolutely no problem just reading through and like letting the page leaf fall off the branch without any much difficulty. Although it is a little bit annoying to read holding all these loose pages, but other than that, this copy holds enough value for me only as much as the writing is kept concerned, and it's so mind blowing. The writing is so good. I'm only like 40 pages in, but I love the writing so much. It's so poetic. It's so ethereal. It's a little bit British. Like I find myself reading it, and I'll be reading it in a British accent. Like I'll actually voice out the words in an accent, which I usually do, but the words seem like it's British, and that's just funny to me. Tomato, and it's the kind of writing that's enough detail to keep you hooked, to keep you interested, and in the scene, in the present moment within the book, within the story, but at the same time, not so much that you feel like you're overwhelmed and bombarded with what are you supposed to do right now. Like, it's just enough to keep you going and not steer you or overwhelm you. And I think that's one of the best qualities of this book, which I haven't gotten very far into. But my expert opinion says that I will love it because so far, so good. And this is like kind of the story that I feel like definitely seems like something that is very innately or natural. What am I trying to say? Very, yeah, it's not something that's, extremely detailedly constructed out of reference or a lot of the original plot itself feels very innate. It feels like something that I would naturally want to come up, like I would naturally come up with and then want to write, because that thought just passed through my head, like the concept of personification of death. That seems like what would it, what would death feel like as a person? And that's such an innate and natural thought that I feel like cannot be so easily concocted with referencing. It just feels like an innate thought, like a ramble that ended up being so interesting and that ended up making you so curious that you had to delve deep and to understand and to formulate it to a concept or an idea. It feels like that. It feels like something that was born out of mundaneness, of just a speck of your thought, and had to be turned into this amazing story. Um, and so far, so good. Like each character that has come into this book within the 40 pages, absolutely banger. Because even when they're like evil or how do you say it, um, like side characters, but no matter what small role they have, they each play such an important part. And maybe it's just because it's the beginning, but I have a feeling that's going to continue on with the rest of the book and the series. I feel like I'm so excited to understand what um, this book will follow through and what it will be, the end that connects it to the next one. And I've known from the book talk reviews that it's like uncovering or solving a murder mystery, sort of a thing. And the added points is that she's a little bit of a, mm, I don't want to use the word mystical, but like someone who can see spirits and someone who has continuously dealt with experiences where death is all around her, and somehow she always ends up not dying. And so it might seem like a very heavy, toned book, but so far so good. I feel like even in, you know, the heaviness of what death is supposed to be, because it is written so poetically, you end up not taking it so much to your heart or feel so overwhelmed by emotions or fears of your own, or any impressions of death that you might have, that connect emotionally to you. It rather instigates or inspires more of an intellectual thought pattern that allows you to think more in that, again, poetic framework of personification of death, of how it would feel like to have death stand right in front of you, look you in the eye as you are taking shallow breaths, and just waiting to be passed away and knowing that you can't. And just what, and it describes, okay, this could be maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but maybe not. I don't know. I really usually don't understand what consists of a spoiler. I feel like it's either the plot or maybe a critical climactic scene. But is it also the character descriptions? And maybe what kind of character descriptions count as a spoiler? I have no idea, but I'm just gonna tell you. So take it as you may please. He's described a little bit as shadows and some deep, dark, and mystical figure that brings so much coldness and iciness that really would put anyone on edge, that would suck the life away, literally, out of any room. Because his presence signifies something so huge and magnanimous that there's no point of hope or anticipation or any sparkling or kindling feelings there. It's dark and icy, but at the same time, he's also described as a person who is like a casual, always joking kind of a guy. Like he's taking everything as a joke. He's not being too serious about anything, which is very fitting because psychologically speaking, that's like a very fitting defense mechanism. So that works well into the personification of him, and quite interestingly reminds me of Jack from Once Upon a Broken Heart, even though death is not as quite as infuriating as Jack's might have been, not as eccentric, I would say, but the kind of way at the core of them, they are boys who've been carrying weight and pain in their heart that they only know to not express. And the way that they deal with that is by joking around. The main character is Signa. She is described since birth. When she's 2 months old. That's the starting of the book. And it's very short starting and very clear, very crisp, but so engaging and so um, captivating that you want to go and read out to the next chapter. It's it's so I remember I kept thinking when I was reading when the part of her being a 2 month old in a party and everything. Um, I think it was a prologue, and I kept thinking this is the kind of thing that I want at the back of the book. Because if it's at the back of the book, then I know I want to read a book for sure. I wouldn't have to go down the path of searching through all these book talk reviews or any recommendations from other people. I would just know that I want this book or I don't want this book. And I feel like a lot of books don't have that and are often misleading. And I just feel like it'd be very helpful to have that, at the back of the book. Just my personal opinion. But I love the concept of using berries and plants and herbs. It feels very fitting, like a witchcrafty energy, even though um I don't think that's what she is, though. But that's how people assume she is. So that's another, maybe a spoiler. I do not know. I'll leave it to you to decide. But yeah, I feel like that's something that's very interesting to me is there's so much dynamism within just the first 40 pages of this book. The concept of belladonna berries, then her connection to plants and herbs, her character being so unafraid to put herself in such a vulnerable position, so close to death, and that she's willingly doing so recurrently because she has been so close to death in her past. It just says a lot about where she's come from, even though we don't technically go into too much detail into what her past was as of yet in the first 40 pages, but just a glimpse into what her character is. It really is so beautifully portrayed. Mm, it just makes me feel like I could finish this book within 24 hours or less. But I am a kind of person who reads slow because I like to voice it out. I like to make impressions. I like to read out the dialogues. I like to imagine myself in that scenario. Sometimes I like to revisit a scenario again to connect it to this new scenario and the contrast and really engage emotionally into the depth of each word, the depth of each character, the depth of each instance and what it suggests towards the development of the character and the story or the plot. Usually it takes a very long time for me to read or complete a book because I'm inconsistent as well, because sometimes it's too much because I engage so deeply that I really have to like take a step back and do something else before I can actually enjoy the book again, because it's so I involve myself so much into it that it just like, okay, I have to take a break. So usually it takes me around a year to get back to a book to finally complete it. But if I'm at it, I can complete a book within a week or less. I know it because I've done it. One of my favorite reads, recent favorite reads, is Binding 13. And boy, was that a roller coaster ride. At first, I hated it because it was so like informative. It was like a bombardment of information. Um, but the story is just so beautiful. The characters, I'm in love with the way that it's written, and the fact that it's from Ireland and you can sort of get on to that accent through the book is just so fascinating to me, and it sort of makes me want to take a flight and actually be there and read the book again over there. That'd be so fascinating. And I'm trying to get through the second book, but I just had to take a break because it was emotionally a little too much for me again, because I like to immerse myself and it's not a light book at all. Like, for a person just reading through would definitely cry. I was weeping. It was like catharsis. You have no idea. I was weeping by the end of the first book. And so the second book, I really had to take a little bit of a break. I only read a few pages in the beginning. And so I feel like, oh, I've heard people talk about Belladonna and be like, oh, they cried reading this as well. And so I'm really interested in what, the connection between the stories is. And of course, because, there's death and there's this element of wanting a home, not being alone, having a family, doing things that are so normal to so many people but are so foreign to this one particular person. I feel like that's something that definitely I wanna will definitely induce a lot of emotions that people will wanna maybe out of, cry off of, or yeah, just feel it very deeply. So I'm very interested to get to that part as well, because I love when a book makes me cry. That's like something that's just so satisfying about it. Like, I don't want to cry about my real life. That's boring. That's done. Everybody does that. I don't want to do that. I'm done. I'd rather cry about a book. That's more interesting to me because it feels like it was worth it. Not that crying in real life isn't worth it. Emotions are all good and important, and it's a part of self love to allow yourself to be able to do that. Anyway, yeah. So that was my first live rent. It was just me trying to see how the setup usually is. Um, it's pretty much like I would record any other thing. Um, and by the way, I'm really not sure if this audio even was picked up because of the mic that I'm using. Um, but the video seems fine. Hopefully, it goes out well. If not, it's a good thing because it's in the beginning stages of my channel, so it really doesn't bother me at all. This is just me experimenting. Let's see what goes. Let's see what doesn't. Um, let's see what sticks to the wall. The wall. Um, I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.